himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so knew off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here, but I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped you all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry. Good evening and welcome back to another Friday night. It's SRL TCR night live from Barcelona National. I am James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth once more by Mr. Zach Sweeney, who's going to be joining me here this evening as well. And what an evening it's going to be. I missed 2 weeks ago because I was on a jet plane on my way back from, funny enough, Spain, not too far from this circuit. Unfortunately, I did not visit the circuit. I chose to visit the new camp instead. So there we go. And went and stood in a 100,000 seat stadium down on pitch side, which, I gotta be honest, was quite an experience. But there we go, and we are looking forward to this. We are at the national circuit, 2.91 kilometers in length, and what an absolute epic evening of racing it's going to be. I can feel it now with all of these TCRs on track, 24 of them. We got pro and AMs all ready to go. What we can do is have a look at this championship in its current form at the moment. As you can see, Gary Craig is there in the pros, leading away on 165 with Matt Almore in second on 154. Dan Mould in third on 143. John O'Johnson on 1360. Steve Fry on 135. And then in sixth place is Alan McCain on 119. Tied with Andrew Lovesey on 119. Sam Smith in 118, Fraser Alexander on 111, Jay Corley on 109 with Craig Walters also on 109, John Brown on 105, then you got Cabernet Delaunay on 91, Arthur Furter on 85, Jonathan Cook on 82, Dan Sedgley tied on 82, and then Steve Howard on 15 points. In the AMs, got Derek Crowther leading the way on 123 with Ryan Dudley on 111, Fraser Garrity on 109, tied with JB Deju currently at this moment in time here as well. And then we've got Russell Fowler on 98, Jess Rakowski on 97, Reese Watt on 66, Dan Lewis on 63, Kev Eilert in 9th place on 49, Paul Cugley in 10th on 45, Neil Forbes on 40, Steve Woodcock 37, Andrew Thompson 36, Elliot James 30, and then tied on 28 is James Ellis and Tom Bingham, and then on 26 it's Hilton Nixon and also Luke Jones, and behind that you got Ian Smith, Chris Barnes, Neil Ridley. It brings up the rear currently at the moment, but I've waffled on long enough. Let's bring Mr. Zach Sweeney in the booth as we've got 5.5 minutes left of practice here. Good evening, young Zach. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, James. I'm really looking forward to a bit of TCR action. Obviously, those at home, they get to look forward to the TCRs every week, whether it's, or the SRL guys every week, whether it's TCRs or GR86s. There's something, but I have to wait every 2 weeks to get some good old SRL action. And I'm thoroughly looking forward to it because round in, round out, these guys impress. Obviously, we now take our next step on our journey throughout the season, all the way back to the fun race and the media race, then round 1 and round 2. This season has so far really, really impressed me. And I cannot wait to see what's to come because in the pros, we've had 4 races and 4 different winners. And that says all you need to know about the season that's to come. Yeah, bring it on. I'm looking forward to it. And while Catalunya might not be the favourite when it comes to racing circuits, notorious for some slightly races on the more boring side in Formula 1, in TCRs, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this circuit. It's come out a couple of times with this, and I don't know what it is about this circuit. It's flowing, it's got a long straight, it's got a stop at the end, it's got hairpins, it's got everything you need for an epic race circuit, but yet just doesn't at times provide epic action. And I can't understand why it doesn't. You know, it's got everything it needs. You know, we're even going halfway down the straight this time before we turn right for turn 1. But yet, there are just sometimes there is nothing happening. People can't seem to get past, and they just don't make overtakes, Zach. And I can't put a finger on it. I really can't. I can't quite get to grasp as to why it's not more beneficial in racing terms. But there are times when the racing here can be really, really quite boring.
Yeah, I think it's more the current era of Formula One that we're in, with dirty air and things that have sort of tarnished this circuit. Obviously, now that they've revamped it and gone back to the old layout with the fast turn 13 as opposed to the stop-start chicane, we've seen a little bit better with that. But you think turns 1 and 2, you're not really on the brakes for that long. You've got a long turn 3 where cars 3 seconds back are going to be feeling the turbulent air. There's a lot of winders, so it is hard to follow around here. But when you get into these front-wheel drive, low-power, low-downforce touring cars, none of that matters. None of it all means niche. They've got no complex flaws, and oh no, my very precise carbon ceramic brake disc that has got 20 different flaps coming off it. Oh no, they accidentally had a small crack in them and boom, I've not got any downforce. None of that applies here. These cars, they can go anywhere and they will race. And I predict that we will see the same theme here at Barcelona. They've not got all those intricate little details that define whether or not it's going to be a second off the pace or a second quicker. These cars are crude, they're nippy, they're agile, and they're fun. And that is exactly what you need. So whatever circuit we're at, whatever reputation it has, it will be a good race.
Well, let's hope it shall be. We've got an Audi topping the table in the hands of the Olympus Esports Dan Sedgley currently. We've got Hondas, we've got Audis, we've got Elantras, we've got Velosters, we've got them all here this evening as we've got 2 minutes left of practice. Fraser Alexander is here in his car currently at the moment as well. He's flying along in the Veloster, of course. And then we've got the Elantra and everything else as well. Sexy Olympus livery, says Thomas Kopp. Welcome in. The Daniel Sedgley cheerleading crew are here. Well, there we go. And VJ, are we there yet? VJ, you sound like my kid on a long trip every single time. I'm not going to lie.
Are we nearly there?
Nearly there. Yeah, and then he goes again in about 10 minutes. Are we there yet? We're coming. And Phil, welcome there as well. So don't forget, guys, there is live timing down in the description on the JPB YouTube channel as well. So you can get yourself, and you want to follow the live timing, you can do there. And don't forget, JPB have still got quite a lot of racing coming up this weekend as well. We've got the PEC 4-hour endurance from Barcelona, and then we've got me and Zach on the Simpletons for racing round 8 live from Silverstone, the season decider. And then you got the BDLV, Big Dreams Little Voices. We've got 8 little superstars joining me in the booth this time for the 6 hours of Watkins Glen. So come along for that one, because that'll be absolutely amazing. And then we've got the Tanzo GR86 League with Zach and Callum on Sunday night. So there is still a lot going on here this weekend over the JPB YouTube channel. We've got no fewer than 6 broadcasts going out over the next 3 days, with the JPB Clio Cup going out on Monday. So there will be something for everyone, and it will be absolutely epic. Mr. Hedgecock, good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Welcome in. 16 seconds here, Zach, of practice. What do we think? What's gonna... Okay. Dramatically, down into that turn 1, are we thinking anything's going to happen, or do we think these experienced 24 drivers of Pro and Am are going to make it through there cleanly?
Are you joking? No. I mean,
no, I'm asking a serious question. What do we think?
See, the thing with the national circuit, obviously, it's not really what I don't think I've ever commentated on it in sim racing. I've never seen a run through turn 1. So I'll be honest, I can't tell you from experience. What I can predict is that it is a long turn 1. Okay. It loops around on itself. And in touring cars, front wheel drive, lap 1, cold tyres. I think we are going to see a couple of sends up the inside. I think we are going to see people getting a little bit argy-bargy. I don't predict it to be squeaky clean. But, yeah, I don't think we're going to see people, like, smashing into each other or anything like that. Nothing too extreme. But I do think we are going to see a little bit of contact, particularly in the open moments where everyone's close together. We have to remember that this, as much as they have put practice into the session and things, this is still largely a new circuit in a competitive environment to them. I doubt every single driver on this grid has had a league race at the Barcelona National Circuit. So having that race experience, or the lack thereof, I think is going to have a knock-on effect. And I think it is going to be some people trying to get to grips with that dynamic into turn 1 here at Spain. And we'll wait and see. Obviously, they've got 2 races, so they've got 2 cracks at it. I'm sure the first one will be a learning curve. The second one, we might see people either stepping under the limit or maybe being a bit too ambitious and going over it. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We definitely will. I love it, Adam Hedgecott. No, we made it through the first chicane at Monza on Wednesday. You did in the GT4s. Miracles can happen. I'm going for a clean start here too, he says. So we're going to take you on board of a lap here with Gary Craig, who is currently leading the championship, and there is the speed of what Gary's going to be doing as we go down into this turn 1. You're going to be spotting your braking zone on the left-hand side. He's broke, well, I would say 250, but that's 250 away from what is traditionally turn 1. Second gear through turn 2 on the left-hand side. He'll be up into third, and here we go, powering up into what is effectively turn 4. Slight little lift, get the car pointed in, take as much of the curb on the inside, and then let it drift out onto that green patch on the outside. Don't want to go too far because there is a off track, not gonna lie. So he's going to be looking on the right for his brakes before he goes into turn 5. The left-hander that I'm expecting some people to spin up from. Maybe, hopefully, maybe, possibly not. But as we wiggle our way through 6 and a long right-hander of 7. Second gear here for Gary Craig. On he goes once more into turn 8. The right-hander again trying to take curbs. Taking a little bit of the sausage curb, not my highly recommended route, I've got to be honest, because these sausage curbs are quite high. Bouncing it on the exit of 10, and then we're going to run round turn 11 onto the main straightaway here, and that will give us a lap of this Barcelona Catalunya circuit, the national circuit. What's it going to give us? It's going to give us a 1:18.32 from Gary Craig, and an absolute stellar lap from the leading championship contender here as well. We will have more times coming across the board. Dan Mould is going to be setting a time as well as he comes over in his Hyundai, and then obviously Jess Rukowski's coming along, Cabernet Delaunay, and Alan McCain is also coming down as well. He is... where is he on track actually? Gone around turn 1, I believe. So his first lap must have counted as an off track. Didn't quite get a time on the board here as well. What do we think of off tracks on here, Zach? Are we looking primarily that there could be more? They've got to be a little bit careful, because we have seen the wonderful world of track limits, and they do vary a lot from Spa, Red Bull, Watkins Glen, and so on and so forth. And I'm probably guessing this circuit probably differs as well. What do we think? Are off tracks going to play a major part in this one, or are they just going to be like, yeah, let's just go for it?
I don't think they're going to be a massive issue like, oh my god, look out, don't extend the track so much so that you get a slowdown. But I do think we are going to see them add up. I think that over the course of the session, we are going to see things add up. Maybe through this stop-start chicane, what I've had in my experience of Catalunya as a whole is Matt Elmore, Jono Johnson dispute over pole position, now on the fringes of the low 118s. Could we see them crack into the 17 shortly? But my experience is you're running side by side through the final chicane. One of you runs off the circuit and goes to the right-hand side of the final cut curve. So maybe we could see that happen, people looking out. My main one is this chicane right here. Up the hill, through the left, on the right, using too much of that circuit and getting yourself an off-track that way. I think they're not going to be a huge issue, but you have got to be careful. You've got to prevent them from adding up. You've got to make sure you don't get that silly off track like you would at any other circuit, but particularly through that chicane, I think it is going to be one to look out for, and one that will definitely be in the back of the driver's minds, like here as well. It's mainly looking out for them when you're side by side. When you're driving by yourself, it's simple enough to stay within the track. But when you're side by side, this circuit in particular, that's mainly where you got to be on the lookout for slowdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's hope they don't play a massive part tonight, as Dan Mould is on top with Arthur Ferdle, Matt Elmore, Jono Johnson, Steve Howard, John Brown. Gary Craig's just got to put it back up front as well. What's Dan Sedgley going to do here going across the line? Is he going to jump up into near pole position? Is he going to get the time on the board? He goes only into 6th place currently for him, and they only have 3 laps, and they are done on their 3 laps. Russell Fowler's just coming over the line as well. One man that's got a bit of a lap remaining is Mr. Stephen Fry. He is at the top part of the circuit coming around turn 8 or Europe cars corner, as he's going left into 9 and 10, and then coming around the final corner here. Funny enough, it's called Catalunya, this corner. So there we go. As it goes across over the line, Stephen Fry will also finish his quali off with his 3 laps. And let's see what he can do. He jumps up into 9th place. All right. It's that time of the evening, Mr. Zach Sweeney, that we turn around and go, who's going to win? Who's going to win Heat 1?
You put me on a tough spot. Gary Craig's time in qualifying looks very, very good, it must be said. It looks very tasty. Of course, coming into today, he is the man sort of to beat. Obviously, he's only got 1 win, but he's only one of 4 drivers to do so. His championship lead is 11 points. He's being consistent. He's being quick and qualifying. I'll be honest, I expect track position to mean a little bit more around a circuit like this. Yeah, I'm going with Gary Craig, but then again, Dan Mould, the reigning champion, is yet to win a race this season so far. I'm torn. I'm gonna. Okay. Blimey. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, I'm not delaying. I promise.
Sounds a little bit.
Dan Mould. I'm done. So yeah, Dan Mould.
Okay, Dan Mould. I am. Do you know what? I'm gonna. I want to say Sedgley, partly because he showed pace. So I'm going to go with Dan Sedgley, I think. Let us know in chat who you are going to go for here this evening. Milky, welcome in. Thanks so much for joining us. Let us know who you're going to go for and who it will be your winner. Who's it going to be here this evening? And let's see what actually happens and pick your winner. You don't win. Yes, we arrived, VJ. We are there. We are there. You don't win anything, guys. It's just for a bit of fun to see if you beat the commentators. Zach has got Dan Mould. I've got Dan Sedgley. Let us know who you think will who will win the first heat, and then we'll do it on the second heat as well. Don't forget, we've got the UK sim races starting next week as well with me and Zach, so we'll have our own little championship fight going on then as well. So we will be putting scores into the championship for who will be the top commentator at the end of the season. Haven't decided on the punishment as of yet. I haven't really decided on a lot about it, but we'll see. See what happens. Maybe we'll have a little cheeky bet or something, Zach. I don't know. But
50p and a Freddo.
Do you know what though? Right, I'm not going to lie. You don't even have to worry about the You don't even have to worry about the 50p. If you can just give me a Freddo and a bottle of dairy milk, a bottle of dairy milk, I'm happy. I mean that works for me.
I mean, Freddos nowadays, mate, that's a pretty good prize, I'll be honest. That's what they should be offering for championships nowadays.
Yeah, but they're still only a little snack bar, aren't they? You take one bite out of them and they're all gone. They've shrunk that much. It's like somebody's put them in a washing machine on a 90-degree wash, and next thing you know, you've pulled out a Freddo that's only about 2 inches high. But then again, same with Mars bar. Did you know what? I bought a Snickers the other day. It was more like a snack pack than it was an actual size of a chocolate bar. It was ridiculous.
Well, like you get out of a celebrations box or something.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
That's what they get into, isn't it?
And then they charged me nearly £1.80 for it. And I was just like, God blimey, governor. What am I supposed to do here? Have a snack with it? But there you go. Now you've listened to the old man moan. Don't forget, put in the YouTube chat who you think is going to win and who you believe will take the Heat 1. We will go again on Heat 2. So pick here before the grid comes up. Fertile. See? Phil across the pond. I was erring on the side of Fertile. I'm not going to lie, but I don't know. I've seen Sedgley's pace. It's going to be interesting to see. Right, here is the grid for race 1. Gary Craig will be your pole man. Dan Mould in second, Jono Johnson third, Matt Elmore fourth, Arthur Fertile fifth, Steve Howard sixth, Dan Sedgley seventh, John Cook eighth, Steve Fry ninth, and then John Brown rounds out your top 10. Russell Fowler, the leading AM, in 11th. Alan McCain is in 12th place. Ryan Dudley 13th, Fraser Alexander 14th, Elliot James 15th, Kevin Adelaune 16th, Dan Lewis is in 17th place, Jack Crowther 18th, Fraser Garrity 19th, Kev Eilert rounds out your top 20. Jessica Regowski in 21st, Steve Woodcock 22nd, Andy Thompson 23rd, Chris Barnes is in 24th. Nope, okay, please behave. Thank you very much. And that rounds out the table there as well. Now we are going to be underway. It's going to get exciting. Let's see who will take the victory. Will it be Craig? Will it be Mould? Johnson, Elmore, Fertile, Hailwood? Who do we think is going to win here as we line up on this grid? Well, if nothing else, Zach, it's going to be definitely exciting.
Indeed so. Yeah, 20 minutes on the clock. Still waiting for our pole sitter though, which is a little bit unnerving. Hopefully he does actually manage to take to the grid, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that run into turn 1. I'm looking forward for the next 20 minutes to come as well, and then obviously the reverse grid race beyond that, but that's a long way away. Let's get through heat 1 first. Let's smash out some good results and smash out some good racing too.
All right, here we go. Lights are coming on once more. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are away here at Catalunya. Who is going to be leading down into turn 1? It is going to be Gary Craig. What's happening down in the mid-pack with Steve Howard? He's trying to get up alongside Arthur Fertile. Dan Mould's making his way through. Jono Johnson also as well. Matt Elmore. Are they all going to make it through this turn? They're 3 wide further back as well. That's not ideal. Chris Barnes has made it through all at the same time. And it is Gary Craig coming out in front currently at the moment. Arthur Fertile has taken an off track, and he has been off track. That's allowed Steve Howard to climb up behind him with John Cook, Dan Sedgley also as well, and it's all battling out here, Zach. There's the gainers and losers. Falls off.
Oh, ouch! That's a huge one there from Arthur Fertile. Hop, skip, and a jump into the barrier, nosedived in, and that, I think, is his race 1 coming to an end through what is usually turn 9.
Steve Howard.
The rear end. Who's to blame for that one? I have to say, Fertile was ahead. He was ahead. There's no doubt about that.
Arthur Fertile's off there. I'm sorry, Phil. Looks like you're out of this one as we're going in now. I do love you, Phil, but unfortunately, it's looking like your pick has got down the order. Gary Craig now out in front. Where is Dan Sedgley? He is all the way down in 9th place. He's lost 2 places, and with a gap of 1.9 between Howard and Elmore, it's not looking good for me. Elliot James has unfortunately had an incident. He has dropped down the order as well. Derek Crowther is up 3 and currently sitting in 15th place. Fraser Garrity as well. But there is John Brown battling out side by side with Dan Sedgley going into turn 1. Sedgley's lost another position, Zach. He is just going down the order quite rapidly.
He is, yeah. It's unfortunate for him, obviously. And obviously for the Dan Sedgley fan club as well, coping with the unfortunateness as it is. As
John Cook, Cook, I think.
Yeah, it is. He's tumbled down another place. He's found himself now in P11 behind Russell Fowler. He's managed to get himself back going again. However, a small mistake and over the grass, and that's not going to be doing his tyres any good, and it's not going to be doing his confidence any good either.
No, it definitely isn't here as well. And poor old John Cook drops down the order there, goes over and just comes off the side of the circuit. But this is Jonathan Cook, Stephen Fry battling it out here once more. Let's see how these guys are going to be able to get on, and hopefully they're going to be able to keep it clean here and not have any problems whatsoever. We say that very optimistically, but let's hope and let's see what we can do. Stephen Fry, Steve Howard, all battling it out side by side. Up back into 7th place is Dan Sedgley, still chasing down John Brown currently as well, and that is what Mr. Sedgley sees. Brown's defending that inside line there, Zach. He's not going to give it up as they're going down into turn 1. Is Sedgley going to make it round the outside? They're going to be side by side currently at the moment. Is Sedgley going to be able to hang it round there? Not this time, Zach, but he had a good go.
He did indeed. And once again, another look to the inside, but nothing materialising as of yet. Look at that disparity between Matt Elmore and Ryan Dudley. Already built itself up to about 4.5 seconds between fourth places. This side-by-side for the race lead. Indeed, it is Dan Mould sparking something for the lead at the front. You can see Gary Craig hanging on. There is Jono Johnson getting the up and under on Dan Mould as well. The reigning champion stuck between a rock and the hard place. 4 cars, all for the race lead. Bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a non-stop. Craig, Mould, Johnson, Elmore with Dudley behind him as well. Dudley's kind of in his own little no man's land here. He's got 4.5 up front. He's got 1.1 behind. So he is going to have to kind of keep an eye on Brown, but he's going to be doing an absolutely stellar job. And hopefully he won't get these guys caught up to him and he will be able to stay in front. Further down the order, Fraser Alexander is at the back end of this, and this is what Fraser sees, battling away with Cabernet Lorne, who has got Russell Fowler that close in front of him currently at the moment as they're going side by side. Is Fowler going to defend the inside? He didn't. This is going to be Kevin Delorme's chance. Delorme's going to be running up the inside, going down into turn 1. They're going to be looking for their braking markers very, very soon. There they go. They're on the lights, and it is Delorme through, and that was about as clean as you could possibly make that. But then again, he's gone wide into turn 1. He's under jeopardy out of 2. So, you know, it's all hit and miss here, Zach. He almost had it clean all the way through.
Almost, but almost doesn't win you races and almost doesn't get you any positions. It's got to be 100% without any shadow of a doubt working your way through. But good attempts from everyone in the field. It's been awesome racing, close, tight and competitive. So absolutely enjoying this. And looking forward to the remaining 3 quarters that we have got of it. Just over 15 minutes left of this race to go. The fight for the lead is raging on. Gary Craig looking for his second victory of the season. Dan Mould looking for his first. I have to say, I'm very surprised at the fact that we are yet to see a Dan Mould win.
Yeah, I think that does kind of surprise everybody. And it surprises them in a fact that he's just naturally quick. The defending champion, we've seen him take the championship, is naturally speedy, but yet it just, I don't know, he said the other day that he was slow because he's been in the Clios and all of that within the JPB League and, you know, the GR86s. He does mix it up with cars. Do you think changing from car to car causes a problem?
It can.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that if you look to sort of James Baldwin towards the top end of sim racing, and his sort of, he goes from iRacing to ACC to R-Factor back to iRacing to ACC, and he's jumping between sims and platforms and cars and styles. It can take a while because you think that these drivers, to get to their top end, they're doing hours and hours of practice in the same car, the same track, the same sim, the same conditions to really get into that, hammering it down, those optimal conditions. If you're then having to go from TCRs to Clio Cup and making that change, and between the change you're not quite optimal in one, and then straight away before you can even get optimal you're onto the other and changing it, a lot of sim racing depends on muscle memory. When to brake, how to feel the car. And if you're constantly chopping and changing from different cars, that muscle memory is just going to merge itself all into one gloopy mess of, well, I've got the braking of the Clio but the acceleration of the TCR, and while they are fairly similar in their driving styles, both front-wheel drive and things like that, they are still fairly different in their own right. So Dan Mould's versatility, while it is a very good attribute, does mean that sometimes you are going to have to settle for being a little bit below standard in some things. However, that's not slowing him down at all in Barcelona. He's looking to the outside into what is usually turn 9. He's trying to get the up and under, going through the very fast right-hander. And despite the disparity, despite maybe the lack of adaptability, oh my word, is he fighting for this lead.
Yeah, he is, and he's also got Jono Johnson coming up beside him here as well. Johnson's going to try and go around the outside of 5. Is he going to have room? He does get the room left, but he doesn't make a use of it with Matt Elmore behind him as well. We've got a Veloster, a Honda Elantra, an Audi, all in the front 4, and the nearest Honda is Jonathan Cook, who is currently 2 seconds away from Stephen Fry, sitting down in 9th place currently as well. Alan McCain is another one who's locked up in a battle here as well. He's got a 4-way fight with Lewis, Alexander and Crowther. There's battles all the way through the track, but it's a tough one because they are battling, and I get that. but are we not seeing the overtakes that we've spoken so much about? Because look, Dan Mould normally would pull straight up alongside Gary Craig and have a go down into turn 1. Didn't get it done this time around. Steve Fry's going to have a go. Is he going to be able to lock that up that inside? He's not going to get it. Oh, contact on Dudley. Fry and Dudley having a little bit of contact there as well. Dick Craver, Fraser Alexander, Craver's trying to send it up the inside. So they are managing to make overtakes at a track that's very, very difficult.
Indeed so. Yeah, it's a testament to both how good these cars are and to how good these drivers are as well in their own right. So everyone given absolutely everything in order to battle their way around the circuit and to make the most of the opportunities that they've been given, which is a skill in and of itself. When you've been given a sparse amount of opportunities, being able to make the most of them. However, that's late on the brakes into here, which one of them has done. Just in behind, you can see Fraser Alexander a little bit late. That's going to try and open the door for Daniel Lewis in behind. But that's the thing as well, is on a circuit like this, making the most of opportunities like that. If you're Lewis sat behind, you've got to be thinking, well, he's just made a mistake. How do I capitalise on it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to try and get closer as well. Elliot James is also battling away with Andy Thompson, Kev Eilert and Chris Barnes further down the order. Thompson's just made a mistake there. James is going to try and run him around the outside. Not this time. And Barnesy in the middle as well in that Royal Mail livery. I suppose if you're going to pick one, you might as well pick the Postal Service.
I do hope the car is quicker than the Postal Service.
I do hope. I think that's the irony of it all as well, is the fact that the Postal Service doesn't always turn up on time. But Chris Barnes, hopefully, should be quicker and does turn up on time, as he is now side by side with Kev Eilert. Eilert's going to have the run down into that turn 1. He's going to have that inside line. He looks more planted in the car. He's going to get through. Job done for him. So Kev Eilert up in front of Barnes currently at the moment. Elliot James still fighting it out with the Andy Thompson in front of him, with Gary Craig nestling up, and he's still got Dan Mould nose to tail with 9.5 minutes to go here, Zach. This could be any one of these front fours win here.
Yeah, anything goes amiss for any of them, and the whole dynamic of this thing could shift indefinitely. I mean, Gary Craig has been doing a brilliant job. It's not easy, and that goes without saying, to keep 3 very eager cars behind you at bay. Dan Mould has thrown it, John O'Johnson's thrown it, Matt Elmore has thrown it as well. They've all given their 2 pennies worth, and as it stands, it is at 1, 2, 3 and 4. Surprisingly, no changes from where they were in qualifying somehow. Is that going to remain the way for the second half of this race? So that remains to be seen. I'm looking forward to this battle, but I think at the moment, it's going to take Dan Mould going for a move on Gary Craig to really see John O'Johnson and Matt Elmore getting involved.
Yeah, it definitely does. Currently, don't forget, it's the top 15 reverse for race 2. So Alan McCain is currently in that spot. He has got Fraser Garrity right behind him, mind you. And Jess Rukowski has got Steve Woodcock behind her currently at the moment as well. There is Jess in the Audi. There's Woodcock, Eilert, Thompson, James and Barnes all behind him. Barnesy in that very bright, recognisable livery. Dudley has got John Brown in front. He's got Stephen Fry and John Cook. As you can see, Stephen Fry trying to make the move around the outside of turn 5. In a way, I do fully understand why he's had a go, right? I get that with Stephen Fry. But I've not once, and I think I've done a few series here at the National Circuit, that outside line at turn 5 actually benefits anybody. And as it has shown there for Fry, he's just lost a place to Cook, because he went around the outside, left the door open. Cook said, "Thank you very much. I'm going to take the inside line and take the position away." I don't get that move, and I think that's one thing that these drivers have to be aware of, is stay away from the outside line of 5. You can't get it. You can't get the acceleration off the corner.
It is tricky, absolutely. I mean, it's doable, but you have to have a perfect circumstance for it. It's a risky one. It's like asking someone to send the move around the outside of Magnus and Beckett's. It's a very different scenario, but just as an analogy, it's a move that can be done, but it's a move that needs a very specific set of circumstances, a very specific advantage, and maybe a mistake along the way to really make it feasible. So yeah, keep an eye out for it. It kind of can work, but again, it's dependent on that mutual respect, that bond between drivers, as Alan McCain at the moment is on reverse grid pole position. He's trying to move his way up ahead of Daniel Lewis and up into 14th place overall, looking backwards on the Audi RS3, and he's looking to keep Alan McCain at bay. And that's what I love about sim racing. That's what I love about production in sim racing, is the fact that we get these weird and wonderful camera angles that we would never be able to get in the real world, and it does really add a whole new perspective to the racing.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I think go away. Oh, Mr. McCain, you were very, very close there as well. It's not ideal. Elliot James has unfortunately had an incident, but he looks like he's still going, so I won't worry too much about that as we look back from the rear wing of Lewis and see McCain working hard in that. He is currently in the high Hyundai, working hard. You can see him on his steering wheel. He's going to get right close to us currently at the moment, as is Gary Craig with Dan Mould. That is a different form of perspective here, because you can't even see Dan Mould. He's that close, and look at these guys fighting it out here as well. Really annoyed I couldn't race tonight. Oh, Callum, why couldn't you race? So there you go. Phil across the front. From now on, I'm going to pick what Zach picks to curse them. Phil. And Spink says, go Mould, go. Pretty much. So there we go. Gary Craig's got it deep into 5. He's on the outside. That's going to allow Mould through. That goes in deep of 5. Loses a position to Mould, and this is what we were talking about here. You've got to get turn 5 right. You can't do that, because look at the gap he's left. He can't get on the power early enough. He's dragged it in too deep, and that's allowed Dan Mould through. Zach, that outside line, that deep line, that line just doesn't work. I can't see it working for anybody here this evening.
It's a costly mistake from Gary Craig. He's been doing such a good job up until now, but Dan Mould was calm, composed, collected, and now has got the maybe easier job of trying to keep the pace. Look at that closing speed from Gary Craig, though. Forces Mould to go defensive. Here comes Gary Craig on the fight back to the outside of turn number 1. He's late on the brakes, but that momentum to the outside, it's too long of a way around through turn 1 here on the national circuit. Dan Mould able to stay ahead. They run their way through 2, 3, and then 4 just at the top of this hill, this very fast right-hander into 5. I have to say, Dan Mould is probably the last driver you want to make that mistake to.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan Cook is trying to climb all over Dudley here. This is an AM and Pro fight. Dudley being the AM, of course, and he is trying to move himself up through the championship currently at the moment. Dudley's done quite well this season. You know what I mean? He is one of these drivers where you never really know where to place him. Partly because of the fact that he's just quicker than the AMs, but he's just not quite quick enough to be in the pros. He's kind of like an enigma. You're just never quite sure where to put him. He can pull performances out like this where he can keep pros behind him. And then there's sometimes I've seen in this season where in some races it just goes horribly wrong. It's so difficult to place people in their categories, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is because it is so fluid. Some races you're quicker than others. You can't purely base it off one media race or one test race. You have to look at it as a season as a whole, their pace, their consistency, their strengths, their weaknesses, and where to place them. And that's where really it sort of boils down to, as Jonathan Cook tries to get himself ahead of the AM leader as it stands. But that is the problem when it comes to ranking systems, because it is so subjective. There's no formula about it. It's no A plus B plus C, all these variables, plug it in, boom, you've got yourself a pro or an AM. It's sometimes he's quicker, sometimes he's not. The bottom end of the pros, the top end of the AMs, where's the line? Yeah, it's a weird disparity, but sometimes it's one that you have to make. I think it's a good thing to have the pros and the AMs. It gives the AMs something to fight for, as opposed to just, oh brilliant, I finished P13 overall and that was that. It's, no, I finished P3 in the AM class, I got a podium. It gives them something to fight for, it gives them something to look forward to, it gives them a championship to potentially win, as opposed to just having one big grid.
Absolutely,
but
I fully agree.
You can
with
get the issues.
Yeah, you can get the issues. There's never a perfect fix. Some people go off iRacing, some people go and do a trial to see what their lap times are. Others do something else, and it's a whole complicated procedure of putting people in the right class. As we see Jono Johnson trying to go up into Jono. Well, he couldn't have got any closer even if he wanted to there, Zach. He was very close to spinning, Matt Elmore was very close to spinning Jono Johnson there.
Yeah, it was a touch and go, or an almost touch and go, I suppose, with John Johnson very, very nearly getting to the rear end of the Audi in front of him, but no harm, no foul. What I am interested in is that 2-second disparity between Gary Craig and Jono Johnson, despite the fact Mould and Craig have been battling. I think that is down to the fact that Johnson and Elmore have been having their own individual little scrap. But as we approach what will be the penultimate lap of this race, this is really where things start to boil down to. It was a 4-car train at one point. Now it's a fight for the lead, and it's a fight for the podium. And with only 2 laps left to go, well, this is where the stakes just completely exponentially ramp up.
Absolutely. We've got Mould out in front currently at the moment. Gary Craig, Johnson, Elmore, Sedgley, Brown, Dudley, Cook, Fry, and then behind that is Cavalier, Delaunay, Fowler, Crowther, Alexander, McCain, and on pole at the moment will be the AM drive of Fraser Garrity. He will be sitting on pole position. Chris Barnes is having a nice little battle with Mr. Andy Thompson down here currently at the moment. They're coming round turn 8 as they're battling away nicely. We do say lick the stamp and send it, Chris Barnes, as he has done. He has done. He's side by side. Oh, well, nearly were enough, Zach. Got through on that one.
Yeah, squeezing his way through. Nice stuff between the pair of them, must be said. Great mutual respect. And back to the front. Here's Dan Mould versus Gary Craig. Oh, my word. Lateness on the brakes, the Constantina effect. Once they put their power down, Dan Mould stretches the advantage up to about a car length again. But this is it. This is entering the final go around. I think it's only about 2.8 miles is this new rendition of the circuit where you cut off half of it. Dan Mould versus Gary Craig. One for their second win, one for their first win. Could we have our 5th different race winner in 5 races?
Well, time will tell. Will Mould get his first win of the season? Believe it or not, and we're already at round 3. This is 5 races in. It's taken Dan Mould to get this victory if he does get it. Gary Craig has put the fastest lap on the board on a 1:17.621. He has now got the space of about a minute remaining to try and take this victory. Is he going to be able to take it? Sedgley's gone on a 1:17.44. He's been climbing up to the back of Elmore. He's just not got it quick enough. The gap hasn't come down fast enough. It's now 4.8 seconds out. These guys are going round turn 4. It is the Elantra versus the Veloster of Gary Craig. Who is going to be able to take this one? Who's going to get this as these guys go running down into turn 5 here, Zach?
Yeah, well, not long left to go in this race whatsoever. Dan Mould, Gary Craig, both have been given their absolute all. I think Gary Craig is going to be kicking himself that he made that mistake, because I can't see any more changes. I can't see any overtaking opportunity for Gary Craig through the final chicane. Dan Mould, keep it clean, put your foot down and get to the line.
Yeah, here we go. They're coming down the final parts now. Round turn 8 they go. Into turn 9 and 10. Mould still out in front. Craig still in second. He's not going to be able to do this. It is going to be Dan Mould who's going to come across the line. He's going to take the victory here this evening. It's Dan Mould wins. Gary Craig second. Who's going to get third? It's going to be Jono Johnson gets third in the pros. In the AMs, it is going to be Dudley taking this victory. He did get overtaken by Jonathan Cook, but it is Ryan Dudley out in front first. And then behind that, we've got Russell Fowler and Deck Crowther. They are going to be your winners in the AMs. And, well, it all went down to the final lap of the race between the leaders. And what an absolutely stellar job they've done there as well. Alan McCain comes over the line. What's happening with Barnes? Did he get that stamp licked on Andy Thompson? He tried it once, didn't make it through this time, and unfortunately Andy Thompson took the victory in front of him in 20th place, in 21st for Barnes, and then Lewis behind that as well. Hailwood is back out on track. He's coming across the line as well, but it will be Fraser Garrity on pole position for race 2 for this top 15 reverse here as well, and it will be Fraser Garrity will be sitting in pole position. Here are your results of the overall. Is Dan Mould with the victory, Gary Craig in second, Jono Johnson third, Matt Elmore fourth, Dan Sedgley fifth, John Brown sixth, and John Cook rounds out the top 7 for the pros. It is Ryan Dudley in the AMs. He beat the pro of Stephen Fry, Cavalier Delaunay. Before we get into Russell Fowler, Deck Crowther are your your AMs podium 1, 2, 3. Fraser Alexander in 13th, Alan McCain 14th, Fraser Garrity pole position for the next race. place. Jess Rakowski in 16th, and Kev Eilert is there in 17th place. Steve Woodcock behind it, Elliot James, Chris Barnes, Andy Thompson, Dan Lewis and Stephen Halewood there with Elliot, and then it will be Arthur Ferdle behind that one there as well. Let's see how he gets on. Mold's hungry, he's in the car asking, are we there yet, says VJ. Well, let's bring him in and see what he was actually saying in the car, VJ. I'm pretty sure it probably wasn't, are we there yet? Dan Mold, welcome in, sir.
Hey, alright.
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
I'm sweaty.
Man, I looked a bit of a sweaty fight, I'm not going to lie. Did you think you were going to get Gary?
No. I just thought I'll just stick on his bumper and just pray he'd make a mistake. He seemed to have such a massive advantage on the last chicanes toward the pit straight on me, so I was just like, just got to stick with him. I was a lot quicker than him through the middle section, but I didn't think it was going to happen, and then he just made that one little mistake on the airpin, and then I thought I'm gonna take it here, but he put me under a lot of pressure towards the end. Great race though.
Yeah, it definitely was. Well, you made Zach very happy, Dan, as he had you down for the winner, so that puts him 1-0 ahead of me at the moment.
Thank you, Zach.
Always had faith in you, mate. No worries.
You absolute liar. You sat there for about 5 minutes at the beginning, deliberating who to even pick.
Well, because Gary Craig is quick, but it's Dan Mould, isn't it?
Oh, right. First race.
No, come on, mate.
I know, he's blagging it here, Dan. I'm not going to lie. First race to the victory here, Dan, this season as well.
You know what? I've not done any races around here on iRacing, but I have done it on Project Cars 2, and I said to John, it's an awesome little layout. This is on Catalunya. I think it's probably better than the actual full version.
Yeah.
It's wicked. You know, I love it. I'm gonna hopefully do some more leagues around here if we can. And yeah, it's an unbelievable track.
Yeah, and not a bad place to take your first victory of the season.
No, always like a win.
Always like a win. All right,
yeah.
You're going to 15th now, mate. What's the play? What's the chances?
Gonna try and bulldoze my way through to the first.
What?
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna send it.
I'm gonna see what I can do. Try and take the first 2 or 3 laps steady, and then once the tyres get warm, you know, start to try and pick up some places. But as we know, reverse grids are always carnage, so it's all about avoidance skills as much as it is with your pace. So we'll see how it goes. I'm confident I might come off the track, but we'll see what happens.
I'm going to send it, boys, and have a go. Well done. That's all that matters, bud. Thank you so much for joining us, and possibly catch up with you at the end of the race.
A quick shout out to my boy Leon, who's watching from work. Go on, Leon! Right, I'll see you later, boys.
Yeah. Take care, mate. Bye. Well, there we go. That was that. Good evening, Leon. I hope you are well. Thank you so much for joining us. As we've got a minute and a half left of practice. Jess Rakowski's just going out at the final few laps of this race here. Right, young Zach, top 15 reverse. Who are you going for?
Well, can I just stall until the last corner of the last lap and then tell you?
No, you're not blagging it that way. No, you're not. It's not working.
Right. So, Dan Sedgley didn't have the best race in race 1.
No.
So maybe with the reverse grid he could find himself up top. But I'm not counting out Gary Craig and I'm not counting out Dan Mould either because of the surprising amount of overtakes that we saw over the course of race 1. So, I don't know. Again, I've not got the reverse grid directly in front of me, so I can't actually like picture it in my head. Off a whim, I'm going to go with... do you know what? I'm going to go Ryan Dudley.
Ooh.
Just to be different.
Cool, blimey. That's not a bad shout, that. I can't pick the same one now, unfortunately, so that's going to suck. I don't think Mould's going to be able to get through. I've got to be honest. Gary Craig hates the reverse grid. He never goes well in a reverse grid. Oh, because Arthur Fertle's not even in there either. Alan McCain.
All right. Phil's also gone with Ryan Dudley do. So poor Ryan Dudley. Here we go. Here's the grid for race 2.
Yeah, Fraser Garrity in first, Alan McCain second, Fraser Alexander third, Deck Crowther fourth, Russell Fowler fifth, Kevin Delaunay sixth, Stephen Fry seventh, Ryan Dudley eighth, Jonathan Cook ninth, John Brown 10th, Dan Sedgley 11th, and Matt Elmore in 12th place. Then beyond that, Jono Johnson, Gary Craig, Dan Mould, Jess Rakowski, Kay Violet, Steve Woodcott, Elliot James, Chris Barnes, Andy Thompson, Dan Lewis, Steve Howard, and Arthur Ferdle at the back end there in last place for Arthur. Poor Arthur Ferdle. What a nightmare that was on race 1. And now he's all the way back. I will go with Dudley also. He's going Dudders. Nice. He's that fence got has that fence got padding on it or something? Why are you saying they're all sitting on the fence? Well, we're going to find out very, very shortly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and race 2 is underway here this evening at the Barcelona National Circuit. Fraser Garrity has got away. Alan McCain, Fraser Alexander, Russell Fowler, further back, Deck Crowther. They're going 3 wide. Dudley's in the middle of this 3 wide. He's all bounced up. They're going to be 4 wide at one point here. Surely that's not going to work back here with Matt Elmore, Dan Mould. I'll find out. Dan says he's trying to go around the outside there as well as Deck Crowther in the middle. Sedgley's going to run up the inside. Is Crowther going to want to get himself involved? He's got to cover off Mould. You've got to cover off Mould. He didn't cover off Mould on that run. Is Mould going to have the inside line for 4 as he goes round the right hander? Sedgley's going to have the inside for 5 there, so I'm not overly worried about that. Alan McCain has dropped all the way down into 4th. He's down 2 places. Kevin Delaunay, he's gone up the inside of Dudley. He's trying to go up the inside of McCain. Now there's contact. Contact, Russell Fowler. Oh, it's all going wrong here. Zach in the midfield. Dan Mould still not making massive moves with Gary Craig, Matt Elmore, Jono Johnson, Rakowski and Cook all round him as well. McCain is pushing up to the back of Alexander here. I would say a clean lap, but it looks like Andy Thompson has jumped back into the pits. Russell Fowler's off. Fraser Garrity dipped on the grass and he's gone off track as well. So it's all getting a little bit feisty. Here's that for race 2.
Yeah, and we round off lap number 1. Fraser Alexander up to Alan McCain stays where he is in second. Fraser Garrett to the podium. Ryan Dudley just in behind though. He's got to be careful of Kevin Delaunay as well. Up to 10th place though. Dan Mould has made a sensational getaway in the opening moments and he's trying to grow on that as well. Oh my word, the carnage that's ensuing in behind. As Brown tries to move his way to the outside of Matt Elmore. More carnage in the background with, just everyone, everywhere. It is insane. No, it's one of these races, these race starts where it's like, who's where, who's doing what is going on? Is Dan Mould picking off another victim in the form of Stephen Fry, who tries to keep it to the outside of turn 4, That is never going to happen. And what it does is it bunches everyone up behind. Those in behind get a better run than those that have gone side by side through turn 4. Outside line is, oh my word, Dan Mould nearly getting pinched. Wow, the 2 SRL teammates of John Brown and Dan Mould carving their way through this field.
Yeah, they definitely are. John Brown's trying to make it up as well. He's up 2, Dan Mould's up 6, currently the biggest gainer on track. Alongside this man, believe it or not, Mr. Arthur Ferdle was trying to make his way through. Dan Lewis has had an incident, unfortunately for Lewis. He's gone off. He's dropped down the order. Something sent Andy Thompson straight back to the pits, right? And I've got a funny feeling whatever that was, he's already gone, isn't he? I think he's already gone off here. Ah, he's there. Where did you go, Mr. Thompson? What happened to you, sir? Oh. I've seen that before. Deja vu for race 1 there, mate. I'm not going to lie. And unfortunately for Andy Thompson, that puts him out. Matt Elmore is now got Deck Crowther trying to go around the outside. That's not good. Crowther's got to defend up Brown. Oh, Brown had to hit the brakes. Mould went through there as well. Jono Johnson, Stephen Fry. Cole, that was very, very close, Zach.
Yeah, it was. It is getting intense. Oh my word. John Brown, Jono Johnson side by side on that run through 4, now into 5. And you can see Johnson might have the overlap. Inside line as they held onto their brakes. Outside 2 wide, 2 deep between John Brown. Also side by side between Stephen Fry and Gary Craig, getting himself into the mix. Also in that 33 machine. Oh my word. Look at that. 5 cars separated by absolutely nothing. John Brown just about hanging on to the top 10. Stephen Fry, Gary Craig, John Cook and Dan Sedgley all in behind this fight as well. This is exactly what we want to see when it comes to touring cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Elbows out. They're going at it full bore here as well. Craig is trying to weave his way through. Stephen Fry, Dan Sedgley, all battling it out. Jess Rukowski's in there as well. Those 5 minutes of practice seems to have done her good. Cabernet Delaunay is trying to defend hard from Matt Elmore. Elmore's trying to look around. Is he going to go up the inside? No. Is he going to go around the outside of turn one? It hasn't worked for anyone so far around that outside line, Matt. I'm not going to lie here. And with Dan Mould there trying to get a sniff as well, you really don't want to make any mistakes going into turn one here, Zach. You kind of want to keep him behind you as much as you can.
Indeed so. Oh my word, that's getting close. As looking to go for the move, Jonathan Cook versus Gary Craig as well. They're having a bit of a fight behind. This is the fight though. Dan Mould making up the rear of this fight with Matt Elmore and Cabernet Delaunay just in front. In towards turn 5 and the switchback. The dummy has been sent now to the inside line. Look at that move. Goodness me, the send there from Matt Elmore has been sensational, but keeping his foot on the outside is Delaunay now through into what is 6 and 7. Oh my words! Matt Elmore sends sideways front wheel drive, keeping him afloat. Now we've got 4 cars in the background trying to fight their way through. Dan Mould picks his way up the inside into the final couple of corners. Yeah, Dan Mould is fighting his way through a war zone.
Absolutely. John Brown is in a war zone with Stephen Fry. John Cook all around him with John O'Johnson. Deck Crowther currently in front of him. Cabernet Delaunay has now got Mould on the inside. Delaunay's run a little bit wide. Mould's gone round. Matt Elmore got a sniff there. Do you see that? He made that move. Is there going to be 3 wide down into turn 1? Is this going to work? Is Delaunay going to back off? Is Elmore going to back off? Is he going to cut Mould's face off and cut his nose off going into turn 1? He's not, but he's gone in deep. He can't hang it out there, Zach. And Mould has just gone up into 5th place currently, up 10 places. Deck Crowther's off. Crowther's off. Where did you go, young Mr. Crowther? That was involving John O'Johnson, believe it or not. Oh!
Back in a bit over the gravel. No way them front tyres are doing anything. He is a passenger. The fronts are blocking up as well. The rears are locking up, I think, under brakes. Found the barrier quite quickly. The side-by-sides here is a little bit of a fight further back. This is Stephen Fry fighting with Gary Craig and Jonathan Cook just in front. But yeah, how's up and down? Honestly, how you know where to point these cameras, James, I do not know.
I really don't, mate, at the moment. I've got to be honest, because there is battling all the way through the field here, and Dan Mould has literally got about a 1.8 second gap to close up on Ryan Dudley. So let's see whether or not he's going to be able to do that. Matt Elmore's following through as well. Then we've got this Delaunay train here with Delaunay, Brown, Cook, Fry, all behind him as well. Cook's there, Brown's there, Sedgley's there, everybody's there. Rounded out with Elliot James is also there. Mould's got the fastest lap of the race currently at the moment, but it is this midfield battle with Stephen Fry with Gary Craig. Craig does not like reverse grids here, Zach. He come in when we spoke to him, I think it was at the end of round 1 or near round 1, it might have been after heat 1. He did say he didn't like reverse grids. He did say he tries to keep his nose clean as much as possible. Not always worked out, but he isn't in a bad position here with 12 minutes remaining.
Still got over half the race left to go, which is promising. Stephen Fry is side by side with the man himself, looking on the outside. A little bit of a discouragement on the outside, and that is the unfortunate thing. As Dan Sedgley now tries to pick his way through, up over the left-hand side, and then into the right. Is that Matt Elmore? No, it's not. That's one of the lap cars going off. I think that might be Andy Thompson or Derek Crowther just allowing everyone through. But yeah, well, you do have to be to some degree aggressive in races like this, right? You don't win by being Mr. Nice Guy. You don't win by saying, oh, after you, oh, yeah, of course, I'm just trying to keep my nose clean. Go up the inside of me. To some degree, you have to claim it. You have to grab the opportunity with both hands and force the initiative. But there's a balance. With everything, there's a balance. And you have to walk that very narrow tightrope. As just in front, John Brown under pressure from John Cook, who's looking to go to the outside of turn number 1. They're going to go side by side. The Audi RS3 of John Brown looking to keep his nose ahead. Does exactly that through the very long, winding 180 degrees of turn 1 here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya in the national form. But yeah, I can see Craig's point of view that he prefers to keep his nose clean. But when it comes to reverse grid races, you have to send it. And unfortunately for some, they don't quite have the moral compass or lack thereof to be able to send it to the grid they have to.
Yeah, definitely. Elliot James has just gone past. He's just got passed by Kev Eilert there. Further down, Jess Rakowski is side by side with Arthur Ferdl. Ferdl's going to try and run around the outside down the Hyundai, the Elantra and the Audi side by side. Rakowski's doing a stellar job here as well as they go off round turn 8 now. Oh, bumps a lot of that sausage curve. Ferdl not so much, and Ferdl seems to get a bit of a cleaner line. Is he going to be able to get this run out of turn 1 onto Rakowski? Thompson's been off again here as well, and there is Arthur Ferdl behind Rakowski. You see him weaving all the way in front as well. They're going at it in front of this with Delaunay. It's got John Brown. Brown's going to try and go around the outside. We've got Dan Sedgley trying to make the move on the inside of Stephen Friday. Gaps closing. Ferdl, Rakowski. Oh, yes! Rakowski went in a little bit deep and Arthur Ferdl made it through once more. Garrity is also trying to chase down Fraser Alexander here with Ryan Dudley right behind him. But it is Alan McCain out in front by about 2.8 seconds at the moment. Here's Zach as well, and he's absolutely flying with 10 minutes remaining.
Absolutely. It's brilliant stuff, but Dan Mould is... Well, 1 minute 17.8 was his last lap, which is quicker than everyone. He's the fastest man on circuit. Is Alan McCain beatable though? Because only a tenth quicker on that last lap to Alan McCain was Dan Mould, and he's got about a 4-second disadvantage to the current race leader of Alan McCain. Granted, Dan Mould had to fight through 10 cars as opposed to McCain's 1, but I think that Dan Mould, if he wants to win this race, it's going to take a miracle. First up, he's got to get past Ryan Dudley for 4th place. I have to say, Fraser Alexander, Fraser Garrity and Ryan Dudley have all had supreme races. Alan McCain, though, he's not slouched around on this opportunity. He has taken it and he has ran away with things up in front.
Yeah, absolutely, here as well as they're going into turn 1. Mould's trying to get as close as he can to Dudley. He does do. Dudley doesn't put a foot wrong very often though, Zach, and that's the thing. That's why a lot of the times we signal, we talked about it in race 1 where he's speedy, we don't really know where to put him as a driver, but he doesn't do a lot wrong. And that's the thing, he's consistent, and that consistency keeps him in the positions that he's in the race he is at the moment.
Exactly, and well, he's already trying to pick him off and work his way through the up and under through turn 5. This could get a little bit messy. Ryan Dudley to the inside of Fraser Garrity. Dan Mould trying to follow him through. Now turns to the outside, but still continuing to go side by side. Dan Mould doesn't really know whose side to go on here, whether it's the inside, the outside. He's now to the inside of Dudley through into the final couple of corners, but Dudley in the Audi RS3 keeps him honest to the outside. The advantage once again swings the way of the driver. Dan Mould squeezed off there. Ryan Dudley elbows out over the sausage curb. Dan Mould chucks the move to the inside.
Oh, Dudley there, he was like, nope, you are not going down. I am not going down without a scrap, and he definitely did not. It was like watching an old-time prize fighter put his elbows out. One mistake he has done, and he had time to do it, he didn't cover off the inside. No! Oh no! Yeah, no! Oh! How did they all survive that?
Magic, I think. They've all got some spirit animal watching over them as Matt Elmore. Ryan Dudley is dropping maybe through turn 4 over the sausage curb. Oh my word, that's going to hinder his run ever so slightly. Sends him a little bit wide, puts him on the defensive. Matt Elmore now creeps his way alongside, even so creeps himself ahead into the braking zone. Ryan Dudley's going to be brave. He is very brave. Oh my word, it's too brave. Has he got it stopped? Elmore tries to get the up and under. It's not enough. Ryan Dudley, I'll be honest, I thought he was going straight on there, and to some extent he did. But he's held on to 5th place. Unfortunately, it's 5th place that's 1.5 seconds off where he'd want to be. Yeah,
absolutely, but he did an incredible job in the meantime, getting his elbows out, holding off Dan Mould as long as he possibly could. Mould is now chasing down Garrity. Is he going to can he get there in 6.5 minutes? He's got a 5-second gap almost. I don't think he can. I just do not think he can get there, but however, he is going to get Garrity. I've got a funny feeling Garrity's not going to defend him that hard, and he does go up the inside. Dan Mould, job done over Fraser Garrity. He's now got Fraser Alexander second up the road behind him here. Arthur Ferdl making gains all the way through the field. He's just gone past another one. Whoa! Elliot James. No, dear sir. We are not on the full circuit.
Oh no!
Yeah, I think he's just torpedoed turn 1. I think he completely missed his braking point. I forgot what layout we were on here. Oh, he hits the grass! Oh! Oh, God.
I'm astonished.
God blimey! How did he miss that? Let's have a look on board here. Actually, I want to go on his nose. See how close this was to Dan Sedgley. Oh!
James, you know what that was, mate?
Brown bad moment.
That was Elliot James being a bit of a silly Billy.
He made an oopsie.
He's made an oopsie, yeah. I mean, respect that he was somehow able to keep it out of the rear end. Yeah, okay, interesting stuff. Right, we've seen it all as commentators now. That's ticked all my boxes. Dan Mould continues to impress and tick said boxes with a 1:17.698 as his fastest lap of the race so far, the fastest lap set by any driver in his pursuit. Second place is going to be his ceiling. I predict, unless Fraser Alexander sort of stops him at third. But this little fight here going on between Matt Elmore, Ryan Dudley, John Brown, Gary Craig, John Cook, John Johnson, all the way down to 10th place. Good little scrap going on in the final few moments of race 2. I have to say, this evening's been rather successful.
I believe it has as well. And there was a couple of moments where people are going to be sitting back thinking, oh my dear blimey. Dan Moll's trying to go around the outside of 5. We said it didn't work. And, well, he just goes to prove me wrong. Oh well, Dan Moll made it work. Nobody else managed to throughout the 2 races though, did they? No,
that's true.
That's true. Okay, cool. You are here. I thought I was talking to myself for a minute there.
Oh no! I'm here. I just don't want to be so rude to the man himself of James Parfitt. He seems to be in his wondrous.
I did train of. I stopped and paused. You know. Never mind. There we go. Racing's still going on.
I made an oopsie.
You made an oopsie. We're still in 8th place. Gary Craig has got John Cook trying to come up the inside. Jonathan Cook. Oh! Craig! God blimey, that was late if I've ever seen one moving in the braking zone there, Zach. I think he decided late he was going to go for that.
Yeah. You've got to be more decisive than that. I mean, look into the real Spanish Grand Prix in Formula 1 with
a driver in a team with flexi cars. There you go.
Yeah, those ones, and how late they were to try and defend. It's a similar situation there. You've got to be decisive with it, and you've got to be predictable, but no harm, no foul, I suppose. But Gary Craig is going to be looking to take to the outside, as so too does the fight in behind. That's late. How they settle into single file there, I do not know. Somehow, by some higher-powered miracle, have they managed to all make that through cleanly. People... Well, yeah, they're throwing everything they can at this race, and I'm here for it. But it is making me anxious. Like, I am sat here wondering what is going to go wrong. It's not even a case of if, it's when.
No.
Is something going to go wrong?
Yeah, I'm hoping these guys are going to be able to make it through the last 2.5 minutes. I'm not going to lie. Dan Moll did clear Fraser Alexander, and Alexander's dropped back into the clutches of Garrity. There he is, sorry, clicked the wrong one. And Garrity didn't make it this time around. Here we go. John Brown has got Gary Craig trying to run around the outside. We've never seen this work throughout this race. The problem is for Craig, it is Cook. Cook's not going to give him the opportunity. Gary Craig's trying to run him up the inside. John Brown's going to be off. Over the curb he goes. Did he hold on to without getting that slowdown? He takes the nose off Craig. Craig's going to lose that inside to Cook. Oh, no. We've seen this a couple of times going around that corner there, Zach, and people end up coming across, and they normally end up on the wall on the left-hand side. Just ask Arthur Furl.
Yeah, that's normally... Oh, my word. Jonathan Cook. I'm going to do it too. Oh, no. Oh, my word. He is... That was nearly move of the century there. He might well do it in 2 corners, though. He tries to get the underneath of John Brown. Here comes Gary Craig fighting back, though. These 4, I don't know whether to be nervous or impressed. I think both. This is like it's. I'm on the edge of my seat, and I'm like not literally biting my nails, but in the metaphorical sense of literally being on the edge of my seat, excited and nervous. But it's so impressive how these guys are fighting so hard and keeping it within the limits. albeit just, as there we go. Brown to the inside. Cook don't really know where to go. Too wide, too deep again into turn 1. Oh my word. Contact.
Contact again. Cook and Brown and Craig and Johnson. What a battle. Johnson's now got himself coming up the outside of Gary Craig. He's going to try it as well here. But Dudley's also in the mix. He's trying to get... He's got John Brown about 3 seconds behind him. Why he's trying to fight away with Elmore, Garrity and Alexander in front of him. These guys are side by side again. They're all over the track. There's just nowhere for any of them to go. And once more it is nestled in as they are. John Brown leading the way. He's got Cook. Gary Craig's trying to go up the inside now as well. And he's trying to make it through all at the same time. You're going to put him round. Oh, I don't know if I can take it anymore.
I don't know either. Yeah, my heart rate is through the roof. I haven't got a Fitbit on, but if I did, it would probably be broken. And this has just been absolute insanity. It has been a fight from start to finish. Dan Mould finally into second place, of course, and he's still putting in some fantastic lap times, nearly a second quicker than Alan McCain on that last lap. Unfortunately, it's going to be a time restraint for Dan Mould as to not winning this race, but second place is still very good as... Oh my word, that's late.
Oh, there was contact. Alexander and Garrity, there was contact there. Dudley's in the mix here as well. Alan McCain, where are you? I'm keeping an eye on Alan McCain. He's coming down into turn 5. He's not been much on camera for race 2. He's just kind of, well, he's got away from it all, really. Dan Mould's closing, 2.9, but he ain't going to get 2.9 unless McCain makes a bad mistake going into 5. These guys are swapping backwards and forwards. Alexander and Garrity. Garrity's going to try and run him around the outside. That's not worked. It's not worked. There's only one man that made it work, and that was Mr. Mould, and he didn't work for Fraser Garrity either. Jonathan Cook, and they're still fighting it out. Fertel's in there as well now. If you're ever going to throw a hot potato in there, you might as well throw half a Fertel just for good health and see how it turns out here. As these guys are running side by side. He's gone! Gone! Cook went! Johnson's gone! Is he going to send it on the inside of Fertel? He is! There's contact rubbing like crazy! Sorry, Alan McCain, you are the victory! Fraser Alexander comes around in 3rd place. Fraser Garrity takes 4th. What's going on further back? John Brown's going to get the run over Gary Craig. Behind that, Jono Johnson, Fertel manages to stay ahead. And I don't know. I can't work out anymore. It's just gone mental. So there you go, Zach, over to you.
The SRL TCR Championship, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it if you are new. Yeah. Wow. That was hectic. A little bit is John Johnson. Well, there we go. He's done a... oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say he's done an Elliot James, but at least Elliot James missed. Wow. What a race. What a pair of races. And what a championship this is turning itself into be. Is that... Wait, hang on. Alan McCain has not yet won a race so far this season. I believe we have had 6 races and 6 winners.
We have, but if I'm not mistaken, also...
No.
Go on.
Has Alan McCain... no, we haven't. Alan McCain had already won a race up until this point, unfortunately. But still...
I don't think as well, when we have a look at the results here, I've got a funny feeling that this lady here has just taken her first podium. If I'm not mistaken, in the AMS.
With
4 races, starts. I've got a funny feeling that's her first podium.
It is. It's her first top 5 as well.
Yeah, it is as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But let's bring you up the results after what was just an absolute manic race. Alan McCain, oh, that puts us 1-1, young Zachary. Is in first place. Dan Mould in the 2nd. Fraser Alexander 3rd. Fraser Garrity 4th. Ryan Dudley is in 5th. Matt Elmore 6th. John Brown 7th. Gary Craig 8th. Jono Johnson 9th. Arthur Fertel in 10th. Stephen Fry in 11th. Jess Rakowski in 12th there. Steve Howard 13th. Kevin Igalone 14th. Russell Fowler 15th. Chris Barnes 16th. And Dan Lewis is in 17th place. Then we're going to go beyond that. We have got Dan Sedgley, John Cook, Kev Eilert, Elliot James, Steve Woodcock, Andy Thompson, and then at the back end is Mr. Derek Crowther. So unfortunately there as well. all got involved in the mix, and we can have a little bit of a chat with this young gentleman once more. Let's bring Mr. Mould into the booth. Mr. Mould, how are you, sir?
Hello again.
Hello. You like coming in just for talking to me, I'm sure you do.
I really like talking when I'm winning.
Only when you win. Nice. I'm not being rude here, but you didn't win race 2, mate.
No.
No, second place. But
Oh, well.
a stellar job anyway.
A lot of luck was involved in the first 3 laps.
Yeah, it was very, very manic, and there was a lot going on, mate. I'm not going to lie. It was all over the place, but you did a stellar job. What was it like coming back through the field?
I enjoyed the second race. I enjoyed the first 3 or 4 laps the most out of the whole race. With all the cars around you, it just seemed like from my, I don't know what it looked like on the broadcast, but from my view, it just felt like everyone was just being so careful and respectful. And like I say, that's why I gained so much, because I was taking my time as well, but I was trying to take a few opportunities by just staying away from cars, maybe touching each other and just getting a better exit. I enjoyed it. It was, I think there was a couple of laps where I think it was Matt Almore, we went 3 wide into turn 1, and I had to hug the curb as much as I could. That was a bit nervy, but I was like, I was on the edge of my seat thinking, no, about it. But James is shouting 3 wide, but it was good. It was good going. I enjoyed it. Really enjoy this track. Like I said in the previous interview, it's going down as one of my favourite tracks now.
Yeah, absolutely stellar job, mate, as well. And it's been an absolutely amazing race. So well done on your comeback through there as well. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
The regulars, the SRL, you two for putting the broadcast on. Big shout out for John Brown. He's helped me out a lot with the league and with other things in my personal life. So he's a good friend and he's a great man. And a shout out to the JPB boys as well in the Discord. Good luck community we got over there. For everyone watching, looking forward to Monday. And that's it. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
As always.
Awesome stuff, Dan. Thank you so much there, buddy, as well. Thank you very much for the shout out. My guys will be extremely happy as they're going into a busy weekend for the BDLV. So that's going to be an amazing one. But yeah, pleasure as always, Mr. Mould, and I'll look forward to having a chat with you probably on Monday.
Yep. Thank you, boys. See you, Zach. See you, James. Bye-bye.
Take care, mate. Right, I want to bring in this man, Mr. John Brown, who spent the entire race 2 battling away like his heart defended on it, like the Spartans had been attacked by the Romans, and it was absolutely incredible. Welcome in, Mr. Brown. How are you, sir?
I thoroughly enjoyed that. Everybody behind me was, well, they really wanted a piece of me, didn't they? But I held my own, and I had Stewpot. I think he must have felt bad about killing me last race, because he was in there watching the stream live and cheering me on in the Discord. So no, it was a good second race. That was. I said I'd never fought this hard for 7th place in my entire life.
Well, Gary Craig, Jono Johnson, Arthur Fertel, Matt Elmore, all involved at some points as well. John Cook was another one in there all at the same time there, John. But doesn't that make the racing what these TCRs are? There was contact, there was 50% slides, there was, almost going round with your nose sticking in the wrong way. You had it all, did you?
There was, if you're not on 12x by the end of the race, well, you've not had a race.
Is that what you were on?
I was on 12x, and it was all from people bashing up my arse end. No, it was good fun though. I was just watching that green little number go up and up and up each lap, and all I was doing was defending. So no, absolutely immense. That was. It was gave me a bit of a breather when 2 of them came close behind, and they had a little battle themselves, and I really didn't expect that last lap move from Gary. I thought he was settling for that position, but no, he found room on that coming up to that last chicane, and I had to get a little bit creative there. But no, I'm just glad I was in the Audi, because I think it's got the legs down the straight. So otherwise, he might have had me. But No, that was some immense racing.
It definitely was there, John. Thank you so much. We thoroughly enjoyed it in the booth as well. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Oh, everybody who's in the league. Without you guys, it couldn't happen. Dan, who helps, him and I organise it together, and you guys for the awesome commentary, without which nobody would watch us.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And it was a pleasure, I must admit, for race 2. Absolutely amazing. Go watch it back. I did get a bit excited.
Yeah.
You know.
Congratulations to Alan. He's just told me he won that race.
He did.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much, John. And we'll look forward to having a chat with you as the season goes on.
Yeah, go mate.
Take care, mate. Right. Let's bring in Mr. Alan McCain. Took the win in race 2. My favourite man from Northern Ireland. I didn't lose back out to Zach again. We are now 1-1. Done the job in race 2. Very lonely for Mr. McCain. He pulled out in front. Got past Fraser Alexander. Job done. Led through there after that as well. But Mr. McCain, welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
Well, mate, you're my favourite person now. Thank you so much.
Did I just win you money in a bet?
No, unfortunately not. Zach can't afford to. No, it was just a friendly bet. Who picked the winner? So Zach had Dudley in race 2, and I had you. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem. How was your race 2 though?
As you said, pretty lonely.
Yeah, stellar job.
Other than that, everything went pretty well.
Race 1. How was that?
Disaster.
I figured that might be coming. Come on then. What happened?
I got a net code hit on lap 1. Kind of went backwards, struggling with getting the apexes right, braking points right to get the apexes right. Couldn't get the car to rotate. It was just one thing after another. Come near the end, it just kind of played with the brake biases at every lap, and it just sort of come near the end there. I got to where I wanted to be, and I was starting to put the lap times in I was wanting, and started to pull up through the field.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, it was amazing. But I will say one thing. Go and watch it back, because there was some incredible racing behind you, young sir. And it was very exciting while you were driving off on your Sunday drive around Catalunya. It was like it was prize fighting behind you.
It's not often I drive off around Catalunya, put it that way.
No, me neither.
It's not my favourite track.
Well, I've got to be honest. You definitely did an outstanding job there, Mr. McCain. Thank you so much for joining me. And now, am I mistaken here? Is that your first win of the season?
No. I won.
Did you?
The first one?
Yeah, when was your first one?
I won the first one.
What, in the opening round?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes, that's your second season win then. Stellar job, buddy.
Yep.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
No worries at all. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Big shout out to John and Dan for putting the league on, and yourself for doing a great job in the broadcasting. And unfortunately, teammate Sam, he couldn't make it tonight. He wasn't unavailable, so shout out to him as well.
Well, young sir, you did an absolutely stellar job. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to having a chat with you as the season goes on.
Well, indeed.
Take care, bud.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay, Zach, how long do you need? A sentence, a paragraph, a dissertation? What's the situation?
Wow. To sum up 2 races like that, I don't know. There's not enough words to describe it. But I'll try. I'll do it in 3. Carnage, chaos, and what's another C word? I
can't answer.
Carnage, chaos. Yeah. Well, carnage, chaos, and completeness. I think we weren't left unsatisfied. We had enough there. We had our fair share of the pie, and I'll be honest, I'm surprised. with Catalunya. It delivered, and what a great way to round off the first half of the season.
Absolutely incredible. Well, guys, that's it for this round. We go off in 2 weeks' time to Donington National, and what an incredible race that's going to be. Don't forget, we've got more coming up with the PEC 4 hours of Barcelona tomorrow, and then you got a sim racing for Simpletons round 8 from Silverstone with myself and Mr. Zach Sweeney. And then on Sunday, guys, we have got Big Dreams, Little Voices, 8 little superstars waiting to join me in the booth here as well. And if you haven't seen any of what they've asked last time, please go and watch the interview back, because they did ask questions along the lines of, please rate your teammate out of 10 while they were both in the booth. And some wonderful advice from Abby Morton to her dad. Keep it on the track next time, Dad. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. From myself and Mr. Zach Sweeney up here in the booth. Much love to you all as well. VJ, Zombie Kebab for jumping in as well. And anybody else, Phil, as always, Callum Milam, and everybody else, Mr. Hedgecock, Milky, thank you so much. But for now, guys, from myself and Mr. Zach Sweeney, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.